Hi, I'm Erin Stragi, Rooftots Kids Director at Rooftop Church. We are having a chat today about the fact that summer is pretty much here and we are still in 24/7 parenting mode. And now we're going to not have any more school activities to help fill our days. So, what in the world are we going to do next? These awesome ladies are the members of the Rooftots leadership team. Can you guys introduce yourselves? Just tell us, just give us your name and just a little bit about yourself, and we'll kind of go around.
I'm Amy Ogle. No kids, but been teaching middle school for 7 years now. 6th, 7th, 8th grade, taught them almost every subject except science. But now I just teach 8th grade math in Rockwood.
Hi, I'm Heather Glessner, and I'm in charge of the Rooftots registration team. And I have 3 kiddos in my house. My stepson Alex is in middle school, and 2 little preschoolers, Franklin and Wesley. And I'm an occupational therapist by background, but I work from home now, staying home with the kids and quilting for a local business.
Hi, I'm Jessica. I have been serving at Rooftots in a lot of different capacities. I have 2 kiddos that I stay home with currently. Brayden is 10 and Keely is 5. I was a music teacher prior to staying home, but now I get to hang out with my kiddos.
I'm Kirsten McEwen. I've been teaching in the Rooftots preschool room for about 11 years. I have 5 kids myself. My oldest is 8 and my youngest is here with me because she's my cuddle bug. I stay home with my kids now, but before that I taught dance.
I'm Stephanie Villagram, and I have been staying home. I was the last one to add on because my kids are making so much background noise. So hopefully you can hear it. But I'm a stay-at-home teacher now with my kids. I've been staying home for almost 9 years. Previously was a biology teacher. Last year was a part-time preschool teacher. That's it.
Awesome. For those that don't know me, I have 7 kids of my own, and they range in age from 14 to 4. We're a public school family. So I have been very grateful for all of our teachers who've been providing so much for us to do. So thank you, Amy, and all the wonderful working teachers that you represent. So because we're all freaking out, we kind of put together a list of just questions of stuff that we could think about to try to help us sort of cope with the summer coming, and how do we make it different. And I feel like I already had summer, but we didn't. And now our regular routines are going to be all interrupted. So I kind of, we filled this questionnaire out, and I just loved the answers the ladies were giving, and it was really helpful. So we thought maybe it might be helpful for you too. So we just posted our little questionnaire on the website. You can find it on www.rooftop.org and look on our Equipping Parents page. So you can print it out if you have a printer. If not, you can just write down the questions. Okay, hey, Stephanie, can you lead us off here?
Yeah, sure. So girls, I want to know, what were some fails for you over the last couple months?
Do you mean like when I yell at my kids for not listening during Bible lesson?
Yeah.
Right, that's one.
So I am not the planner, and I am just surviving day to day. And so like I get back and I'm like, it's been 2 months and we haven't really accomplished a whole lot. So we survived, but that's totally not how I necessarily want to spend this time together. So that's my fail.
Oh yeah, I have plenty of terrific fails. And I think it all just comes down to, I just need to give myself and my family more grace. I think I get impatient with them, and I expect them to like pick up the slack when maybe I'm not kind of keeping things going, and then I get frustrated, and yeah, it's not pretty.
Something that has helped me is because we're all home together, I just know that we're going to have more conflict. Like I can't expect us to have less conflict. So I know that there's going to be more conflict in my life, which has just helped me not to be so surprised when it happens.
That's really good. We've actually started, one of the good things we did intentionally do during this time was start listening to an audiobook called Bob Goff's Love Does, the kids version. during dinner time, because that tends to be a time where we have some conflict with personalities. We have some very talkative children and some very non-talkative children, and so it gets a little hairy sometimes. So it's been a good opportunity to like have something to listen to and then talk about.
Okay. Despite the occasional yelling, most days our Bible lessons have been really good. So I'm really grateful that we've had time for those, because it's not something we've done regularly before. And we'll definitely keep those going during the summer. And I can share some of the material we've covered if you want me to, or somebody else can jump in.
No, let's hear it.
Okay, so we started out by going through Handel's Messiah. It's my favorite music piece ever, and so that was really, really fun for me to teach my kids about. It's all of the words in that are from scripture. A lot of people don't realize that. So all we would do was just look up the scripture in the song, and then we would listen to it and we would talk about it, and I could just do it off my head. Didn't really have to plan in advance, and I was really excited to go do it every morning because, like I said, that's my favorite. So that's definitely one tip I have that I've learned is just whatever you're excited about teaching, just go do that, because then you'll want to and you'll keep it up. We also have been listening to a podcast that's called We Wonder, and it's fantastic. I would recommend it for every single family. She does a great job of really asking these great thought-provoking questions, but they're also very open-ended. So even my little kids can get something out of it, and definitely teenagers and even adults. I learn a ton from it. It's a really, really good podcast. It's called We Wonder. So a lot of days we just listen to that, because again, it takes no preparation on my part. We just sit down and listen, and then we're done. And then what we've been doing some days lately when I have time to prepare is my oldest son a while back asked me what God looks like. And so I kind of gave him a quick answer, but I told him, like, I'm going to come back to this and we'll look at it. So when I have some time, I just flip through my Bible and find a verse of a time that God appeared. So today we talked about the burning bush. We talked about when God walked in the garden with Adam and Eve. You know, there's dozens and dozens that you can find. And we just read the verse, and then I ask them, what do we learn about God from how he showed himself in this way? And that's been really good so far too. And one thing with that is my dad is going to be helping because there isn't a great list of appearances of God I have found. I thought I could just Google one and couldn't find it. So I called my dad, and he's going to help me to find more scriptures, and he's probably going to teach some Skype lessons too. So that is another tip I have, is just ask for help. Like we don't all have to make up these really elaborate Bible lessons for our family. You can join with a friend and you each teach your own. You can enlist your parents who might be retired to help you look up verses. You can go online and find something another mom did and just use that. Like, we don't all have to invent our own thing here. If that just sounds overwhelming to you, then don't.
My family was turned on to a TV app show called The Chosen by Julie Zilke. She said that her family was really enjoying it, and so we just started it just the other night, and my kids really were captivated. They asked the next day, can we watch another one of those? So I thought this is a great thing. I'm hoping to just kind of do, I don't know, one every couple of nights, maybe, and at the least one a week, and then maybe frame some questions and memory verses off of that.
Amy, do you have any good ideas from your students that you can share with us?
I think some fun summer activities that some of them did. One of them, the family, since the Olympics were canceled and they were upset about it, they decided to make their own Olympics. So, like, I know the parents, the son is in high school and then she's in 8th grade and they have an elementary schooler, and they each picked a country and they all had to come up with like different activities for the family to do, and they kind of kept track. And so I thought that was such a neat idea, and you could even kind of make it a little more academic, like to figure out, you know, learn about this country that you choose, pick a country you don't know much about, you know, something like that. And then it gives the creativity of like come up with an activity. Like, I know the one, they were just like, hey, let's play Uno, and they took that as points. So they did like a small family volleyball game, or, you know, just something simple like that, but it makes them creative, and then it just kind of adds that fun.
Mm-hmm.
I know some of them are also taking different virtual field trips every week, since so many people have put stuff online now. And so, take that virtual field trip and then kind of get your kids asking questions. Like, my favorites is always like, you just kind of show a picture and it's like, what math do you see in this? Because you don't normally slow down to actually look around you and like think about math, but you could even like look at the virtual field trip and like, what do you wonder? What do you still have questions about after we explored all of this that you kind of want to know more about? Not just watch the virtual field trip, but actually like, use that information and see if they can take it further.
So we have so many, lots of ideas about how to help our kids grow in their faith, but I kind of find that really my kids don't grow that much if I'm kind of stalled out. So my next question is, how are we going to grow in our faith over the summer? For me, I know my Bible study is kind of ending, and I'm going to have to figure out the next thing. So I could really use some ideas. Anybody got any?
Well, I know you probably hear me say this a lot, but routine is really important to me. So even if it's not fancy, like I start every day reading my Bible. It's not usually very long, and usually I have kids crawling on me or they're asking questions or interrupting with different things during the time. But just a few minutes to sit with my Bible really helps make a difference in how I start my day. And I'm hoping that at least shows my kids that it's important to me. So maybe I'm transferring some of that too. And I'm also just trying to carve out some quiet time every afternoon where everybody's kind of in their own separate space. And so I have some time just to read something or study or just have a few minutes to pray. But there's a lot of times where even just the spontaneous things are really great. Like sometimes we just turn on worship music and dance in the kitchen while we're making dinner, or I have music going outside even sometimes where the kids are playing in the front yard, and I just take that opportunity just to pray while I keep an eye on them playing. So I think sometimes just taking opportunities wherever we can get them makes a huge difference for me. I don't know. What about the rest of you guys?
Well, Stephanie and I have joined created a women's Zoom small group through church with some other ladies that weren't already involved in small groups, and so just trying to find intentional ways to have some community to grow in our faith when some of that has been changed in our day-to-day opportunities. It's been really good. Yeah. And most of us didn't know each other, so it's really like meeting through Zoom, but it's, kind of gelled pretty quickly. So it's been really cool.
Oh, that's cool. What are you studying?
A little bit of we're kind of just seeing where God leads us the next week. Sometimes the sermons and sometimes just a topic that has kind of come up as areas that people want to grow in.
This is an area that I've really been convicted of during our schooling. I've been much more focused on my kids' academics than my spiritual growth and my spiritual need to meet with the Lord. So it is a renewed desire of mine to make sure I'm finding some time like Jessica describes.
Well, this is definitely a time, if we're ever going to just start over, this is our chance. So school's ending, we kind of have a transition point. So I do think that, this is kind of our chance to sort of renew our efforts to help ourselves kind of get back to some habits that we like, or help our kids. I have to be a schedule person. So, I've got a big family, and if everybody had their own schedule, that would be 9. No, that would drive me crazy. I can't do it. And so, what about you guys? Are you schedule people? Are you not schedule people? So
yes, and I'm a loose schedule person though. Like my goal isn't like by a certain time. I thought in the beginning it was going to be like 9 o'clock we started math. Well, it's not always 9 o'clock. So math is in the morning, and that's how our schedule works. And reading is usually a minimum after lunch, if not more times during the day. So, okay, so summer. So filling out this worksheet really did help me. So I'm hopeful that it will help some other people. As I mentioned earlier, I think for our spiritual as the family, we are going to make The Chosen part of our weekly goal, that we would watch it at least once a week and do a memory verse from it. And we kind of, at the first episode we watched, we were looking through the Bible, trying to figure out who the characters were. And we looked at a map of Jesus' ministry and where the different places were. So it was just great. And so I'm really excited to continue that. That's a weekly goal of ours. One thing also, just to help me stay positive, we've tried to instill that we do one good thing a week, of just looking for a way to serve someone. Some of you know, but I do like to make cards. So a lot of it has been a card ministry, but whether we think about older people in our lives and we send them a card, or people that live alone. We did some chalk drawings on our neighbors. So we're just going to try to keep that going, one good thing a week. And they're small, they're not huge, but it keeps me positive, wanting to know that just that I can try to serve, even though, you know, we're at home most of the time. Let me think, what else? I'm gonna try to come up with some fun. So I'm hoping that my kids will get to choose one fun activity a week, whether that is a family water gun fight, or I've always wanted to tie-dye with my kids. And who knows, maybe we'll incorporate, try to hide some school in there. You know, with the tie-dye, there's lots of chemistry, and the water, of course, as my husband and I are both science teachers, I'm like, oh, there's plenty we can do with water and science. So kind of like Kirsta mentioned earlier, like going to your strengths, like not having to come up with something, but going with what I already know, what I can already use to excite my kids. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to continue to do some school stuff around here. I can't imagine the whole day just kind of being free for all. So we do math in the morning, a little bit of math in the mornings. I'm going to try to make it more fun. We'll do some reading and some writing, hopefully every day. Bible, we do Bible at night. But yeah, I think that's kind of our goals, our daily goals and weekly goals for the summer.
Okay, so you have room for 7 more over there, because I might just come to your house.
That sounds great.
Yeah, we typically in our real world do a lot of independent play with my kids, but that's also interspersed with not being home all the time. So, you know, an hour of them being independent playing is, you know, I'm all for kids learning to entertain themselves.
Yes.
Because I think that's a very important skill. But I am finding that now when we don't have preschool or leave to go to play group, all the things that we used to do to kind of fill in the rest of that time isn't there anymore. So I'm going to have to be a little more like structured, at least for part of that free play time, and have a plan, you know, of something, even if it's a board game, just something that is a little more directed, because otherwise with a 12-year-old, an almost 5-year-old, and a 3-year-old all in the house at the same time, it's gonna free play for 3 hours on end will dissolve real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though I said earlier I really like a schedule and a structure, my structure during normal times is like, now you're all going to play for 2 hours and I'm not giving you ideas, like figure it out on you know, that's normally the kind of mom I am. But like you, Heather, I have very quickly learned that that does not work right now. Like I have to be much more involved and leading activities, or telling them like, hey, you guys go and play a game right now, or just I have to be much more involved, because it's just too much. It's just too much open-ended time, and we devolve so quickly when I don't keep them busy enough. Yeah. Oh, one thing. So I'm really glad we're talking about summer ideas, because I have kind of had a bit of a knot in my stomach whenever I've thought about how I'm going to fill all this time during the summer. So I love hearing these ideas. Pretty much, I don't have much except we're going to keep doing Bible lessons. And one other thing I wanted to mention is we have set up a schedule with each set of grandparents that each of my kids calls both sets of grandparents once a week. So it's kind of complicated, but each kid talks to each set of grandparents during the week. just on their own. And that has been really great for everybody. My kids love it. Their grandparents love it. That's been really fun.
That's wonderful.
Well, that's a good idea. And I'm sure it serves the grandparents really well too. I'm sure they're missing their sweet little grandchildren.
Yeah, and that one-on-one time, that's so precious for a kid.
You know, I'm so loving hearing you guys all talk about all these ideas. And it's just really encouraging to kind of know that we're not in this alone, you know, but I'm also thinking about our kiddos and our families and in our church families who are not all created equal, you know, that these kiddos that might have some more challenging situations going on, that they're struggling with some bigger things, and sometimes parenting those kiddos, even making tiny little summer plans can seem sort of overwhelming, you know, tackling. I remember a time a few summers ago where just thinking about summer was kind of scary before we even had social distancing, you know, so I can see for families with kiddos having some more special needs that this can be a really, really challenging time. And so I was just, you know, thinking for those families, if you can identify with having a kiddo or more than one kiddo that are, you know, really struggling right now, it's okay to not do it all right now. It's okay, like baby steps. Like you cannot do it all. You cannot, you know, just change everything and magically fix it all like right now. But you can take tiny little baby steps and make a huge difference for these kiddos. You know, I've found going from the full structure of school where everything is planned out to no structure really does not work. It does not work well for us. And so having some consistency and just a gradual transition even has been really, really helpful for us. And also I'm realizing too, especially with my oldest, that I'm having to talk through things out loud with him a lot more reassurance. And that's been really helpful. So I want to try to do that more. Just letting him know if I'm asking him to do something, it's not because I'm trying to be the mean mommy, but it's because I love him, because I want what's best for him. And that if I'm asking him to do something, I can encourage him that I believe he can do hard things, that I believe that he can try new things and be successful, and just really talking out loud with my kiddos a lot more has been helpful, I think, in reassuring and kind of reducing anxiety. And I'm also hoping that in that I can just take some more time just to, you know, connect him with the idea that God is with us in this, and that we can seek God's help through this. Like if it's hard, like, you know, that we can talk to God and we can ask him for help, and he is eager to help us if we let him. And that's something I need to remember too, that I often don't let others and God help me. So I'm trying to model that for my kids, that I can ask for help, they can ask for help, and God is there to help us when we need it. So just want to share that in case I'm not the only one feeling that way a little bit here.
Yeah, I think you're definitely not the only one feeling that way. So thank you for that. Well, thank you ladies so much for just sharing your thoughts and ideas. We have posted a summary of all of our worksheets, and I think that you'll be amused by the many fails that we have to share with you. I think we each had like one really good area, and so we shared that with you on video, but you'll definitely find that we have our own sets of struggles. So feel free to check that out and laugh at us all you like. You'll find it Equipping Parents during summer of COVID. You'll also find the worksheet that's blank. You can fill out for yourselves, and just reach out to us. You can email us from that the website if you need any encouragement, if you need a shoulder to cry on, if you want a Bible for your family. We've got Jesus Storybook Bibles, Kids Quest Bibles that are available that we'd love to share with you and your family if you'd like something simple and you need a Bible at home. We can get that mailed out to you, and we'd love to do that. Also, keep an eye open. You'll be getting some VBS materials from us. We've decided to go ahead and do that online, but we've got a special curriculum, and we're going to put together a VBS in a box present for you, so we can send that over and have something fun and fresh to put on your doorstep. And So we'll be doing that the week of June 22nd through 26th. So we'll have an online program, and we'll just get in there and do it together. But it'll be a lot of fun. And we will look forward to seeing all your sweet faces next year when we get to go live again. But I think that's it. So join us. You can join us every week too for Kids Church Online. We do it on Sunday mornings. Wednesdays we post Go Curriculum. If you would like a little something extra, especially now that school's over, you can access that. And then we post additional resources on our Equipping Parents page as we can get them done, which comes out sporadically because we have 20 kids and jobs and all kinds of things. So but we're in this with you, and we love you, and Jesus loves you too.
Jacob.
Have a good one. Thanks, ladies.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Take care.